Good morning everyone, welcome back to your maths class. And as you remember that in our last class we started the chapter factorization, and we were solving some of the questions from the exercise, very first exercise, that is 4th A. We solved some of the questions from the exercise. Today we are going to solve some more questions from the exercise, so we can see that how to factorize a given question, and then we'll proceed. Okay, I'm going to take some more questions from the exercise so it will be more clear to you all. There is one question given as a now I think I have given this exercise to you all, and this is question number 18. Okay, a in a bracket, it is a minus 2b minus c, then we have plus 2bc. Okay, this is our question given, and they are asking you to factorize it. Okay, now if you see this given term, like if you see how to proceed, simple, that first we have nothing to do but to open the bracket. So let us open the bracket. If we open the bracket with a, it will be a square, then minus 2ab, then it will be plus minus minus, a into c will be ac plus 2bc. Okay, and as you have opened the bracket, now you see there are even number of terms, 1 2 3 4, and whenever there are even number of terms, you have to pair them, like you have to arrange the term as that we can take further common. So if I take, what if I take these two terms together? No need to rearrange the term. Let's check that whether we can take these two terms together or not. Let's take common. Now from here, if I take common, you see we have to take common. Common means that in the first term there is a square, in the second term there is a. So whenever we have to take a common, we will take something common which is present in both places. First. Second is we will take the lowest power common or smallest power common. Here it is a square, here it is a to the power 1. First thing, a is common. Second thing, here it is a to the power 2, here it is a to the power 1. So we will take a to the power 1 common, which is simply a. Now nothing is left as common, so we will write just a. Then what is left? A we have taken common, so 1a we have, minus here a already we have taken common, so it will be 2b. Okay, you are not required to make a square bracket, you can simply apply a parenthesis. Now from these two terms, and whenever you are taking common from these two terms, you have to be very careful which sign you are going to take common, because here you have minus and here you have plus. Now which sign to take common? Now whenever you are going to take common, you need to see your first bracket, okay, according to your first bracket. Now you see here in our first bracket, the second bracket should come similar to first bracket so that it can further taken as common. Now in this first bracket, if you see, that b wala term is actually with minus sign and a is with plus sign. Now here if you see, whatever thing you are going to take common, this where the b is coming is with plus sign, but here in our first term b is with minus sign. That's how you can check. That means we want this term with minus sign. That means we have to change this sign. So which sign we should take common? Of course minus. I hope that you all know, whenever from any two terms we take minus sign, it always alters the sign or it always changes the sign. So from minus and plus, if we take minus common, now you see first the sign we have taken minus common. Now what is again common? C here we have, C again we have, that means we will take C as common. Now see what is left. In this first term where we have taken minus common, so this first term which was in minus, now it will be plus. So no need to write minus, because whenever we take minus sign, it will alter the sign. C already gone as common. What is left? A. Okay. Now for the second term, here it was plus, but as we have taken minus, so this will change the sign. Now it will be minus, and since C is common, we are left with 2b. Is it clear? Now you see why we have taken minus c common, because here in this part we are getting a minus 2b. Here in this part again we are getting the same bracket as a minus 2b. Now what is again common? A minus 2b, a minus 2b. This is common in both the parts, so we can take a minus 2b again as common. As we have taken these two common, so what are we left with? In the first part we are left with a minus, in the second part we are left with c. Now this is how we factorize, and this is your answer, a minus 2b and a minus c. Is it okay? Okay, our next question is Okay, our next question is a, b, then x square plus 1 plus x, a square plus b square. Okay, now since we are asked to factorize this question, and if you see we are left with only one thing, that first we have to open the bracket. Okay, now let us open the bracket, because before opening the bracket we have nothing to solve. So ab into x square will be simply, I think you all know how to open the bracket now, plus ab into 1 will be ab, plus this will be x a square you can write, or you can write a square x, and then when you multiply this will be b square x. Okay, this is how we have opened our bracket. Now see, you have all 4 terms here, the even number of terms. So whenever we are having even number of terms, either we have to take two terms together, eventually we take two terms together and then we take common. But here if you say, see these 2 terms, we have opened the bracket and these 2 terms we are getting. So now if we are going to take these 2 terms together, we will go back to the very same question which was given to us. That means here we will be arranging the terms. We will be taking 2 different terms. We will rearrange the terms. Let's say that abx square, this term I am not taking with this term. Now this term you can take along with this or this. We have to see, in some of the questions we have to check that which term will be suitable to be taken together. Here it is easy that you can take this one and this one together. I am taking these 2 terms together. So plus a square x. Okay, now what is there then? We have this ab and ab plus I am going to take these 2 terms together. Okay, now since we have rearranged the term, let's take common. Let's take these 2 terms together. Let's couple the terms and let's take 2 terms together. Now here we have, if you see, we have coupled the terms. We have taken 2 terms together. Now we have to take common. So if you see, from these 2 terms which we should take common, here we have a to the power 1, here we have a square. So of course we will take a, the smallest power, that is power 1 and power 2. So we will take a. Now what else we have? B here, but b is not here. Here we have x square, here we have x. So of course we will take x, the smallest power, as common. Power 1, power 2. So we will take power 1. Now we have taken whatever is common, already we have taken common. So now we are left with a is common, 1 power of x is common. So we are left with b and 1 power of x. Okay, plus what is there in the second term? As a is already common, we are left with 1a and x is common. So it is only bx plus a. Is it clear? Now in these terms, let's see, and since it is both plus and plus, so eventually we will take plus as common. Now if you see, here we have b to the power 1 and b to the power 2. So which power we will take common? Power 1, the smallest power. So we will take b. Now since b is we have taken as common, here we are left with a, and in the second term b is common, 1 power of b is common. So we are left with 1b and x. Okay. Now next step, if you see here in the first term now, or first part, we have bx plus a. In the second part again we have bx plus a. Whether you write a plus bx or bx plus a, both are same. So now since these 2 brackets are further same, we can take them as common, that is a plus bx. Since it is common, So in the first part we are having this ax left, plus second part we are having this b. Okay, so now these are the factorization of this question, that is a plus, this is the factorization of this question, a plus bx and ax plus b. That is how we will factorize it. Okay, now one more question I think I should take to tell you all. Let's see the very last question of the exercise. It is 24th question, and it is x square plus 1 upon x square minus 2 minus 3x plus 3 upon x. Now if you see in this question, first thing is, in this question there are not even number of terms, not like you can pair them or you can take them together. If you see here, there are 5 terms, 1 2 3 4 and 5 terms. So how can you pair them? You cannot. So that means eventually we have to take 3 terms together and 2 terms together to factorize. 3 terms which we can handle together and 2 terms which we can handle together, so that we can get a useful result. This you need to practice. These things you will get when you practice. Otherwise, you know, when you practice a lot, you start seeing the things. It will become easy. Okay. By the way, I am going to take these 3 terms together. Okay. This is x square plus 1 upon x square minus 2. I am taking these 3 terms together and then these 2 terms together. That is 3x plus 3 upon x. Now if you see this term, and as we have learned the last chapter, that is the expansion, if you see, this is nothing but the expansion or the perfect square of x minus 1 upon x whole square. These 3 terms. How? I'll show you. If you open the bracket, this term, just forget about this thing, just open this given question or this given term according to the identity. It is nothing but a minus b whole square, where your a is x, where your b is 1 upon x. Now you open the bracket, that is according to the identity, which is a square plus b square minus a 2ab. So a square, that is x square, plus b square, b is what? 1 upon x. The square of b will be 1 upon x square, minus 2 into a, which is your x, into b, which is your 1 upon x. Okay. Now if you see this x you can cancel as they are in divide. So x square plus 1 upon x square minus 2. You are left with x square plus 1 upon x square minus 2. That means at this place, or where it is written, you can easily write this term. Okay, and this you need to see, or I hope that you all have practiced that last chapter expansion a lot, so that when you saw this you can write this. Okay, that's how I have written this. I have explained also. Now since this has reduced to this, and now according to this bracket we have to take something common from here. How? Because we have here minus and plus, and which sign to be taken as common. So if you see the divide wala part, the second part will give you 1 upon x sort of thing, and here 1 upon x is with minus sign. So that means here this plus sign we have to make minus, that means we have to change it. And when to alter the sign, always we take the minus sign as common. So from these 2 terms I am taking minus common. So sign is already common, we have taken. Now you see here in the first part we have 3, here in the second part also we have 3. So we will take 3 common. Okay. Now nothing, we cannot take x common, because here x is in the numerator and here x is in the denominator. So we cannot take common. We always take common when the things are either, both the things are either in numerator or both the things are either in denominator. As we have taken 3 common, 3 here is in numerator, here also 3 here is in numerator, and that's how we have taken 3 common. Now where we are left with first bracket, since we have taken minus common, so this minus is already plus now, so this x, and as minus is common, this plus will now become minus. 3 is we have taken common, so we are left with 1 here, as 3 is common. So what is left? 1 upon x. Is it clear? Now if you see, we are now have two terms. It is reduced to further two terms. Now here in this term it is x minus 1 upon x. In the second term also we have x minus 1 upon x. But in the first term x minus 1 upon x is with power 2 or square it is. And here it is x minus 1 upon x with power 1. Which part to be taken as common? The smallest part. That means we will take x minus 1 upon x as common, the smallest part, and then we will write what is left. Since x minus 1 upon x, here we have two part, one bracket is taken common, so we have this one bracket left, that is one part left, you can say x minus 1 upon x. This is left in this part, then minus 3 only, because this already has taken common. So we have the solution, or we have the factorization of this thing, x minus 1 upon x and x minus 1 upon x minus 3. That's how we will factorize. And if you have some of the questions which is not coming, you can ask, we can tell you. Okay, now we are going to start our second exercise, and in this exercise we again have to factorize the things. And here we have to factorize the things depending upon the difference of two squares. Like in this exercise we have to use the identity, that is a square minus b square. If you see, it is the difference of two squares, no, a square minus b square. So it is difference of two squares, and we know the identity, we have learned this. This will be equals to, in one bracket we write a plus b, another bracket we write a minus b. Using this identity we have to solve our next exercise. Now if I take a very simple question here, let's take 25a square minus 9b square. Now they are asking you to simplify or to factorize this given question. So first thing, if you see here, you have nothing common. Like as we were doing in first exercise, these two terms has nothing common. 25, 9, no, nothing is common. A and b, nothing is common. So we are left with the other thing, that what we have left. We have to factorize it. This is the factorization depending upon this identity. But before that, if you see, in the first term we have to make it like a square and b square, a perfect square. Here in the first one only we are given with a square. It is not the square of the given number. So if we see, can we write 25 as 5 square? Of course, because 25 is a perfect square. It is a perfect square of 5. So it will be 5 square and a square. So better we can write 5a whole square together. Now 9 is also a perfect square of 3. So we can write it as 3b whole square. Now as we have written this, now it is like a perfect square. So we can compare a square, it is like a square minus b square. But at the place of a, what do we have? 5a, not the square, only this term 5a. At the place of a we have 5a, at the place of b we have 3b. So according to the identity, what should we write? In one bracket a plus b, in one bracket a minus b. Okay, so what is our a in this question? It is 5a, not the square, only the term which is there. 5a plus b, a plus b. So here our a is 5a plus b. B is what? 3b. And another bracket a minus b. A is our 5a minus b is our 3b. Okay, and that's how we have simplified. So it is now factorized. This one too is easy. Now let us take another question. It is 1 minus b minus c whole square. Okay, so now again we have to use the difference of two squares. So first thing, in this part it is given the square of something, and here in this part, if the question identity which you are going to use is a square minus b square, that means this also should be written as something as square. So 1 it is here, so we can always write it as square. 1 square will be 1 only, 1 cube will be 1 only. So here we have written it as a square. Now let us see this question and let us compare the values using, because we are going to use this identity. Now if you see, at the place of a we have 1, or a square is 1 square. So at the place of a will be 1. At the place of b will be this whole term, because it is now b minus c whole square. Are you getting this? How are we comparing? So when you compare, if I write the identity so that you see, it is a square minus b square, and the identity is a plus b and a minus b. So I have compared once more. If you see, a is 1, a only, and what is b? We don't see the part. What is b? At the place of b we will write this whole thing, b minus c. So, and then when we apply the identity, according to the identity, it should be in one bracket a plus b, another bracket it should be a minus b. Okay, so now in one bracket a plus b, what is our a? 1. A plus b, what is b? At the place of b we have b minus c, all this thing. So we will write b minus c, and that's how we have a plus b. In another bracket we have a minus b. A is again our 1 minus what is our b? This whole thing, that is b minus c. Okay, now since we have written, nothing to do, just open the bracket and simplify, or you can write it like 1 plus, when you open the bracket, that will be simply b minus c. Here in this 1, when you open this bracket with minus sign, the signs will change, that is minus b minus minus plus and then c. So this is your answer, and that's how you have factorized this given question. Let's see some more questions so that okay, now we have a different type, a little different type. See, here we have a question 16a cube minus 4a. Okay, now you have to factorize this question, first thing. Second thing, if you see in this question, we have to use the identity a square minus b square. Now if you see here, 16 is a perfect square. Of course you can write it as 4 square, but this a cube is not a perfect square, so we have to make it a perfect square. Before in any question you proceed, you see if there is something common before applying any identity or anything. If something is common, we will take common. Whether it is common, the numbers or some factors are common from the numbers, or we have common something variable, some power of variable is common, we will take always the common thing first. So if I tell you, if we see the numbers here, it is 16 and it is 4. Something is common, 16 and 4. What is common? 4. And if I go for the variable, here we have a cube and here we have a to the power 1. Which power will take common? The smallest power, that is a. Now this much is common, we have taken common. Now we will see what we are left with. 16, 4 is common, so we have 4. A cube, the one power is common, so we are left with a square. Minus 4 is common, a is already common, so we have this only 1, because 4a is common. So what is there? Only 4 is all common, so we are left with 1 only. Is it clear? Now after we have to make it like a perfect square. You see 4a square. 4 is a perfect square of 2 and a square. So this thing we can write as 2a whole square, isn't it? Because when you square, 2 will give you 4 and a square will give you a square. So that's how we can write this. Minus 1 can always be written as a perfect square of 1, because now. So this, whatever we have taken common, we will be writing it all the time. Okay. Now if you see this bracket, it is like a square minus b square. Okay. It is actually the difference of two squares. But at the place of a we have 2a and at the place of b we have 1. So according to the formula, it should be in one bracket a plus b and then in another bracket a minus b. So one bracket a. What is our a? 2a. Plus b, what is our b? 1. Okay. Next bracket a minus b. What is our a? 2a. Minus what is our b? 1. And that's how we have all the terms as the factor, and this is our factor. Okay. Now if I take another question. Okay. So here I have one more question. a little different. It is x square minus 2y plus xy minus 4. Okay. Now here if you see, this is again 4 term, and how to proceed we'll see. Since this is 4 term or even number of terms given, so generally what we do, we pair the terms and we take those two terms together, which can give something common. Okay. So here if we are going to take these two terms together, we will not get anything common. So what if we will take this term, first term and the last term together? Why I am taking first term and last term together? I'll show you this now. Let me write first. It is x square and then I am writing minus 4. Okay. And then we are having minus 2y plus x. Is it okay? Now see, here if I have taken this two term common and this two term common, it is x square minus, this 4 is a perfect square of 2. So can we write it as 2 square? Yes. And that's why I have taken these two terms together, because they could be written as difference of two squares, x square minus b square. If I would have taken any of the term from these two terms, then I would not be able to make this as a difference of squares. Now as we have written, so now in these two terms we can apply the identity of a square minus b square. Now here in these two terms, if you ask me what to take common, so here y is common, and before we proceed, which sign to be taken as common? So let's take, here it is, let's take plus common. I'll tell you why we are taking plus common, or else no worry. Even if you are not getting, we can take afterwards the signs common. Okay. So plus common, and since y we are having in both the terms, let's take y common. So now we have taken plus common, so the sign will not change since y is common. So in the first term y common, what are we left with? Minus 2. Are you getting my point? Whenever we take plus common, it will never change the sign. So signs will be same. So first term, if you see y we have taken common, so it was with minus sign, so we are left with minus 2, and plus y is common, so we are having this x. Okay. Now these two terms, we have a square minus b square. We'll apply the identity which is in one bracket a. What is our a? X plus second is b. b is what? 2. a plus b and a minus b. Is it clear? Now plus y, whether we write this term as minus 2 plus x or x minus 2, it is same, no? I have just written x first and then minus 2. Now you see, here we are having again this part and this part. It is reduced to two terms now. If you see, in this term, first term, we have x minus 2. In the second term, we have x minus 2. And that's why I have taken this plus sign, because I saw it. No problem, if you have not taken plus sign common, you have taken minus sign common. You can take the sign further. In the next step, you can take the sign common and you can arrange. Just remember, the two things should match, the first term and the second term. It should be x minus, if it is x minus 2 here, in the second part also it should be x minus 2. I think I hope that I'll take one more question and show you how we take or how we do this. Okay, now here we have x minus 2 and here again we have x minus 2. We can take x minus 2 common. So we are left with x minus 2 common. We are left here with x plus 2, and in this part x minus 2 is common. We are left with plus y, and that's how we have factorized it.